Almost 9 years ago, Mandy and Auntie Grabovac were thrilled to be finally pregnant after trying for some time, and overjoyed and a little shocked to learn they were having triplets.
The carrying was actually quite easy. I was very lucky carrying the triplets. I didn't have any health issues or any problems at all. Just having 3 babies all at once was very overwhelming. It was a shock and a very difficult start to motherhood, I'd say.
I've been out on the ocean.
So he was the first one to come out of the 3, and I actually held him first. And I had a look at him and I thought, there's something not quite right with this boy, and I actually thought that he had Down syndrome immediately. However, because there were a number of doctors and a number of nurses around, I thought, geez, maybe I'm just thinking of it because no one else has actually said it. And I asked the nurse, does this kid need genetic testing? She goes, no, look at him, he's beautiful. And I said, yes, he is beautiful, but I just had this inkling that he had Down syndrome.
But I know once in a while we will fight.
Then Mandy was able to come down, and when she saw him, she also had that feeling. She goes, this child's got Down syndrome. And then that's when we called the head doctor, and our world basically changed from there.
That weekend, I think, was probably the hardest weekend of our lives.
Did you have any advance knowledge that Adam was going to be a bit different?
No, we decided we weren't going to have any extra testing like the amnio and things like that, just because it was a high-risk pregnancy anyway. We didn't want to risk any of the babies. So we did have the nuchal translucency and probably about 30 ultrasounds all up. And no, nothing was ever picked up. So it was quite a surprise to us when he actually arrived and he did have Down syndrome.
So I imagine that would have been a bittersweet experience. You've got 3 brand new babies and one of them's a little bit different.
For me, it was a very, very difficult time. I just didn't know what was going to happen or what our life would be like having triplets and then one who has a disability. I just couldn't imagine how we'd be able to cope with it all.
What were your greatest fears?
Probably that it would just be a really difficult life having a child with a disability. That's what I thought, because that's what seems to be the general consensus of people, but it's usually people that don't have children with disabilities that think that.
You get these pictures in your head, I suppose, from other experiences and what you see on television and other media. You don't know if he's going to communicate, you don't know if he's going to, walk in some cases, but fortunately in our case, he's just exceeded all expectations, even so far at 8 years of age.
What's he like as a brother?
Very nice and kind.
Very nice and kind. What about you, Oliver? Is he funny?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
He's a handsome little rooster too, isn't he?
Yes.
I used to worry that he'd be left out and maybe these two would form a closer bond, but it's not the case. They're all just as bonded to each other as all of them.
When did you realise you were a bit special?
When I was a baby, I just thought like I just had Down syndrome.
You had Down syndrome, yes. And what does it mean to have Down syndrome?
It means so I'm kind of special. It's my favourite thing because
It's his favourite thing.
Because I go to soccer, my dad takes for me.
But we always say what it means to have Down syndrome is, what does it mean? That you're
special.
Extra special and extra beautiful.
Knowing what you know now, if you could go back and change things to triplet day minus 6 months, would you do much differently?
No, absolutely not.
Not a thing.
No.
No.
We're lucky in a way that we didn't have that choice because we weren't made aware. Now knowing Adam and going through all the things that we go through with him in terms of his dancing, his soccer, his everything, like it's just amazing. And like reading with him every night. An amazing little kid, aren't you, Adam?
Yeah.
So what role did the Down Syndrome Association play in those early days?
The support that they offered and the kindness and the resources that they gave to me as someone that didn't know anything about Down syndrome, had never met anybody with Down syndrome. Pretty much as soon as we got home, a day or two later, Lynn Bailey from the Down Syndrome Association came to visit us, and I never forget, she looked at me and she said, "You're sad, Mandy." And I said, I am sad. And she goes, "You won't always be sad." And she goes, "Adam will make sure of that." And I always think of that and I think she was right. He's probably the only person when I am sad or upset that can bring me out of that.
What would you say to the good people in the room here tonight about the work of the Down Syndrome Association?
It's fantastic. Any question you have, the Down Syndrome Association has an answer for you and that can help you.
I'll leave the ocean.